Welcome to the Genealogy Radio Show, the radio show that's keeping you in the loop. And this week's show is going to be telling you what we're going to be doing in 2022. And what we're going to be doing on the Genealogy Radio Show is looking at the theme of overcoming your research brick walls, which is well overdue because it's really well needed and we have to understand what the brick walls are, how to break them down, and our whole series for 2022 will be on that. We'll be getting experts in, overcoming our own brick walls, and we really hope it'll be of use. The Genealogy Radio Show airs from Radio Corcabashkin in the west of Ireland, and it's simply wonderful to be reaching out to such an international audience. My name is Lorna Maloney, and I run a consultancy, Merriman R&T, and it's because we believe you can do it. So we're a team of competent researchers operating in the west of Ireland, reaching out to an international audience. The Genealogy Radio Show has been on air for over 7 years now, and we have 16 series of podcasts out there to share with you. You can go on to www.clansandsurnames.com, and we have 9 series up to date, and we'll be completing that in January and February for our archive for 2022. The awards and recognition behind us is that I'm MBA qualified, I do a lot of teaching and learning, I work in UCC, and I have a research-led solution approach. My experience running a team is that we have 16 series of the Genealogy Radio Show. I'm the resident genealogist at Dromoland Castle, and I have a very strong solution-led portfolio. My expertise and training is in forensic genealogy, which I took in Dallas a number of years ago. I've worked on major projects, the George Boole 200, which is available on the UCC website, the Alsworth of Newmarket Court. We hope to take parts of that and show you the filming of how we trained and mentored a group and society of Duhallow. Skellig Cree, the outreach initiatives in UCC, has been a fond favourite of mine. And I also work with disadvantage and educational outreach. So I do an awful lot of research and training as well. And it's the same research methods when you're fitting into a brick wall. So the Genealogy Radio Show, Overcoming Research Brick Walls, is going to cover a number of themes. We're solution-led, and we're delighted to serve you. So you can visit our website to see all our offerings. And our client testimonials, we worked with Janet Nikonkovar on the Marks brief, and it was absolutely brilliant to look at that brief and see what was going on. And we did an entire booklet on it, which we did with the co-op team of 2021, who were simply marvelous. And we'll also be doing our Overcoming the Brick Walls with our new UL co-op team for 2022. So Merriman Research and Training has a very good track record. It has a positive working environment, and a lot of people want to grow with us. We do offer mentoring, and we do have the mentoring service with the students of UL every year. It's been of huge help to us. I work as a resident genealogist for Dromoland Castle also, and we have a clear vision. We've done an awful lot of getting the word out about what diaspora is and so on, and how we reach out to the clients in Dromoland. The series will explore real world issues in research, bottlenecks and research issues, and offer advice and tips on how to overcome brick walls for your research in 2022. See, problems are not just stop signs, they're guidelines. So unfortunately, in family history research and all types of research, when people hit problems, they disengage and they stop and they give up, instead of realizing that there are guidelines to learn more. And we learned an awful lot from our client Janet last year, where she showed us easier ways for the client to understand, where she looked at whiteboards and she put it all up in a visual. because it can be very dense and difficult to problem solve when you can't see the whole picture. So we're going to be taking you through Google Drawing, how to use that as a tool, all the digital tools that you can use to help you at this time. So what are brick walls in research? Well, they're bottlenecks, they're dilemmas, they're wrong direction, they're incorrect sources, they're mistaken locations, they're faulty attitudes, they're errors, they're lies, they're mistaken beliefs. And we are a team based in the west of Ireland, delighted to serve you in getting over some of the myths and legends that are there to help you use them in a correct way when you're putting your family history together. So work with us to solve them. Let us begin. Themes for our brick wall shows are wide and varied and will involve interviews, book reviews, sources, software. Everything that we need to be able to overcome a brick wall will be used for us. The checklist is a simple example, and I got this source from the Family Search website, which was absolutely brilliant on overcoming brick walls for ideas for the research for this show. So what to use? People assume a checklist might be a set of notes, but it's not. There's a load of digital tools out there at the moment. You know, the type of digital tools we're looking at are very much whiteboard enhanced notebooks that you can take photographs of your notes. So you're not losing everything if you lose your notebook. We'll be talking you through all those as well, and what's good and what's not. Identifying common research problems is the way to go, first of all, with this show and this series. Common solutions to common problems. We want to keep it simple for our listeners so that they don't feel overwhelmed with a load of meaningless advice that doesn't target where they need to go with this. Now, one of the biggest problems in brick walls, what the problems can be, are poorly written notes because failure to keep proper research logs. But people fail to understand that you actually need to be taught how to keep properly written research notes. So that's something that you might keep in mind as well. Keeping notes should have a heading, it should have a date, it should have various different things. It shouldn't be just scraps of paper here and there. But unfortunately for all of us, I'm looking at several scraps of paper here. And really what has revolutionized my note taking is actually the type of whiteboard digital notebooks that I've started to use, photograph and be able to, that have barcodes on them and that I can scrap off and then start again. And it's really been helpful because I might never look at some of those notes, but they're not lost anyway. So how the expert does this is really good. And we're hoping to set up some modeling YouTube channel work so that you can see how the tasks that we do well will help you, and how to stay motivated, intrinsic motivation. It's easy to stay motivated when you have a load of good finds, but staying motivated when you can't find anything can be very difficult indeed. So learn how to take your research notes. It will serve you well. And we have an awful lot of guidance on that. And we'll be doing an entire show on, and maybe even 2 shows on how to take your research notes. Creating research logs as well. There are a number of templates out there. Some of them are okay and some of them are not. There are ways of doing this with research tablets now, that graphic tablets that are easy to use. So I'm on to exploring those to see how I get on with them. And of course, we as a team are willing to trial any amount of software as well. So if you would like to send us an invite to do that, we will be happy to trial it and assess it for the customer to make sure it is user friendly, because sometimes it simply isn't. Setting your research SMART goals is really important. People assume that that's just for business. Indeed, it is for business, and all good businesses do their research well. So SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. And we're going to be doing the entire show on SMART goals and genealogy and research business and so on. Creating your SWOT analysis. Again, when you're involved in contextualizing and looking at the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, it would serve you well to do a good SWOT analysis when you're doing your research. Documenting your time management plan is really, really important as well, because people tend to think, I've got a research trip, I must multitask, and it isn't really the way to go. It can cause more problems than it will solve. So failure to use the 3 C's, we'll be doing a show on that: concepts, contextualizing, clarification. So our show on the 3 C's should run over 3 shows so that we can show you just exactly the techniques we're using there to solve the problem. The lack as you go, quote, reflective practice is a big problem in research because you have to stop. So we have got many strategies that we work on there so that you can keep up with, you know, failure to keep up with the digital tools might be a problem as well. So with that, we just pause to understand the market offerings, which are essential as well, because keeping up to date, stopping and pausing and keeping up to date with the market offerings are really essential as well. Failure to keep up with progress can mean you don't understand your research plan. So understanding your research plan and developing your research plan is something that we're going to be doing a couple of shows on for overcoming your research brick walls as well. And of course, go from the known to the unknown. So if you're preparing before Christmas or you want me to do a webinar with you, please do contact me. But going from the known to the unknown is a really good idea. Be solution-led with the right attitude. That's really important as well. Funny enough, do not multitask or you'll end up with that poor lady over in the picture, one thing at a time, because the minute you multitask, you end up with an overwhelming amount of information which you can't deal with. So overcoming the information overload and knowledge obesity is one of the biggest things you can, if you can solve that, you can really get on very well with a solution-led approach. And our shows will be teaching you how to do that as well. And also tune in to the Genealogy Radio Show at Radio Corcabashkin in wonderful West Clare. I'm certainly hoping to be in the studio live and recording that in the next couple of weeks, because it's been a while and I really need to get back into studio as well. So learn from the experts in 2022, and we'd be delighted to help you there. Now, our shows are very much broadcast out and podcast, and we really would like if you supported our show in the West of Ireland. It supports educational outreach, and of course, all over the world, podcasts and radio have given so much joy to people during what has been one of the most difficult times in our history as such. So we would like to end with that and to remind you that our shows are podcast out on a Sunday, and to tune in and listen for us, please. And thanks very much for your support. And we're looking forward to 2022. We'll have a few more shows before Christmas, but we just want to brief you, as if you do want to contact us with your brick walls, please do contact me and we'll be able to help you with same.